So I went out and bought the Honda Transalp XL750. Now the XL750 is replacing the Tenere, which you can see in the background there. Some people have called me crazy, some people have called me mad for wanting to do this, but I have not ever felt quite right on the Tenere 700. Now this production today is not about knocking the Tenere 700 because it's an absolutely spectacular bike. It's more bike than I can handle for sure, but I've never really felt one with it. I have experienced a lot of the top heaviness of it, the height of it, the problems I've had touching the ground in the sort of undulated surfaces, uneven surfaces and that. I've lowered that bike by about 20 mils and still not feeling it with it. I saw the XL750 in the showroom and went, wow, what a bike. I looked at the curves and the lines of it and all that sort of stuff, and I thought, this is a well-packed bike. It looks really good. This might actually suit me. So what I did is wheeled it out on the showroom floor, and straight away I felt the weight difference between the two bikes, and I felt how easy it was to move the XL750 around. So what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be doing a comparison between the two bikes. You can probably see hanging up here the set of scales. Around. So what I'm going to be doing with that is I'm going to be weighing both bikes. So I know from the get-go that the XL750 comes in a wet weight of 208 kilograms, and the Tenere 700 I believe is 205 kilograms. I believe that's a wet weight as well. Now both bikes are fairly well kitted out the same. So a couple of differences between the two. I suppose the Yamaha Tenere's got this rear plate on it, where the Transalp doesn't. The Transalp does have the GPS on the handlebars there. The Tenere doesn't. But the rest of the bike is all fairly similar, and I suppose the question is, are they both fueled up? Yeah, they are. So let's just flick that on, have a look. Hopefully we can see this. This is the wonderful dash of the Honda Transalp. Yep, it's 100% full. I did check it, I did fuel it up. And the Tenere, just to show you, 100% fueled up. So the comparison is going to be between two bikes which are very similar on weight. Yep, okay, give or take a kilo here or there, it doesn't really matter. What really matters is when you're lifting these bikes in the dirt, on the unstable ground, on wet surfaces, muddy surfaces, all that sort of stuff, or even just a dry track and that. You know, what's it actually like to lift off the ground? So as I was doing a comparison between the two, just looking at different components that are being fitted up with the bike, I forgot to mention that this one here does have a seat cover on it, which, you know, at the end of the day is only a few hundred grams, so not a lot of difference there. Let's firstly look at the height differences. So Transalp on my left side and the Tenere on my right. You can see there, seat height, fair bit of difference there. So I'm about 5'6", 173, maybe 174 centimeters thereabouts in height. Average height, I suppose, at the end of the day. I always found on the Tenere that I was reaching for the ground. I've actually lowered this by 20 millimeters by putting on some lowering links. And I found more so on undulated ground, rough grounds with, you know, one side of the track's a little bit lower than the other, that I was struggling to find the ground. And I think that played a fair bit of my mind as to what would I do if I have to really touch the ground to save the bike, save it from falling over. And yes, I have come off it a few times, as we all do come off the bikes. So the other thing I found that on this one here, the handlebars are quite high. Compare it across to the Transalp. The Transalp's a lot lower. So we've got lower seats, of that, lower handlebars. The tank on the Tenere is quite high. On the Transalp, it's reasonable, fairly low there. This is a much more comfortable bike to ride on the road. This is a much more comfortable bike to ride off-road. Horses for courses. So I'm not going to knock this bike here. If I was doing a lot more rough stuff, I'd be riding this bike for sure. That'd be my choice for off-road sort of riding. For the touring I want to do, this bike here, where I can throw in a bit of dirt road, I go down that occasional bush track or that green lane or something like that. This bike can do it. So the bikes will be set up pretty much the same. I felt really good as soon as I sat on this and took it for a ride. I didn't feel like my hands were up in the air. I felt they were in a right sort of position where I could see the track, see where I was going. And I've had it off on some dirt roads so far, and I found it just sort of fell into position on the track. I wasn't fighting it as much as what I'd be fighting this bike here. Now, height difference between the two, I just did a quick measurement, stood them up straight. Now, this is not a scientific, I suppose, right on point sort of measurement with any of this. So just take it for what it's worth. You can do your own sort of measurements there. But there's about 5 centimeters, that much, between the Transalp and the Yamaha Tenere. That's a fair bit of space. With that in mind, it's very important, obviously, to have that sort of ground clearance if you're doing a lot of rough and tumble sort of stuff, which you'd be doing more so on the Tenere. But I don't tend to do a lot of that, so it doesn't bother me. This will still go the majority of places that this bike will go. Actually, with the right rider on it, it will go to same sort of places. I've seen these Transalps, especially the older ones, go to some fairly extreme places, which is a big positive for me. I won't be doing that. I'll be doing a lot more touring. I'll have the scramble bike for that other sort of measure. So, what can we show you? All right, so this is the scale I'm going to be using to measure the bikes. There's effectively 2 sorts of measurements I'm going to be taking here. One, I'm going to be lifting the bike by the handlebars straight up. So to find out what the actual weight is of a front end lift, give me a comparison between the 2 bikes, kilo for kilo. Then I'm going to lay the bikes on the side and lift them both individually, different heights. The first height will be just up off the ground. I'll be lifting it from the handlebars, lifting it up, as you would out in the wild. I've seen some videos where they do these sort of comparisons on weights and stuff like that, and they put them in metal jigs, they lift them by the seat, you know, they lift them like this. That's not a lot of reality. Most people I see that try to lift the bike, they down on the ground, and they first try by lifting it by the handlebars. Once they get it up, they get their thigh in underneath it and pull from the back to lift the bike like that. That's more so reality. You just see a few people who get underneath it and try to lift it up, but in sand and mud and all that sort of stuff, that's very difficult. So I'm gonna lift it up, bring it up about 5 centimeters, weigh it, do a comparison, bring it up to probably about this height here, which is probably about 80, 90 centimeters thigh height, see what weight's there, because that's probably where that point from there to here is where I suppose the extreme weight is in lifting the bike, then bring it up to its final position. So let's do this. So hopefully I won't drop the bike. First thing I do is turn the scales on and zero it. It's doing a countdown, tearing off. Here we go. So we're on 0. So I'm going to wind this up, bring it up off the ground to the wheels just above the ground and see what weight we come up with. Then I'll grab the Tenere and do exactly the same thing. So hopefully I won't scratch the bike and hopefully I'll go the right way with this. I'll spin that around for you in a sec, the scales, so you can see it. It's just about to come off the ground. So I'm just going to move this out of the way. All right, so that's completely off the ground. You can see that's moving around freely. Let's turn this around. That's 155.5 kilograms. So I'm just going to take a photo of that with my phone. All right, same thing we did with the Honda Transalp. We teared off the scales. So let's start them up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Checking. Okay, so we got a 0 on the scales. I'm going to lift it up, see what we get. Go the right way. And it's swinging freely. Okay, there we go. So you can see there, it's swinging freely. Let's just turn the scales around. So there we've got 152.5 kilograms. I think they're pretty similar, the front end. So once again, I've teared it out to 0. I'm going to lift it straight up. Now, obviously this is not perfect angles. I'm trying to simulate it as best as I can, lifting it. I'm going to take a measurement at about 20 centimeters. So let's get this going. This is the scary part. Let's just get this camera down here so I can see what's happening. Get the camera in position for whether the bike falls. I've got a bit of padding here, which won't make a lot of difference. It's more so to protect the bike. The bike might slide into position. That's fine. It's all relative, because if you were out in the field, most likely the bike's not going to stay in one spot and might slide a little bit. Anyway, this is not science. Let's do it. I will be giving the bike a bit of guidance as it comes up, just so as I don't go scratching it in any way. So let's just take a little bit further. I'm going to take it up to about the 20 centimetre mark, and I will allow, say, 5 centimetres for the mats. And I'll take it from the edge of the, yeah, how's that right on? Edge of the handlebars. So at that point there, we're showing 42.5 kilograms on the scale for the Honda Transalp. Next point will be hip height. So we're getting to the point where if you were on the trails and you're lifting the bike, you've heaved it up and you're trying to get it up onto your thigh to give it that final push to lift it into position. So I suppose this is where you'd probably be getting under it now to lift. So let's take that off. Won't make a lot of difference. So there we're setting at 78.5 kilograms. So it's pretty hefty. Okay, so going up, I'd expect that to reduce, 78.5, and go down. Let's just see what happens here. So a little bit further, I'm going to take it right up to probably my hip height. Got a bit of a jam up. All right, so at this point here, this is probably pretty much the fall angle where a bike's going to fall if you get into this position, unless you've got plenty of momentum. So we're currently sitting at 66 kilos. So yeah, it is losing weight as it's going up, and it'll go back to the original 150 kilos or so. Let's do the same for the Tenere, and we'll do a bit of a comparison. I'll put a table on the screen so you can see the difference. So same as last time, I've teared off the scales, going to lift it up, bring it up to about 20 centimeters off the ground, then at thigh height, then almost completely up. So here goes. So far, no damage to bikes. So let's hope for the best. Once again, I've just got to watch out for switches. I'm not going to be ripping anything off the bike. Need to let it take a little bit more purchase there. I have full trust in my rigging and my engineer ability, especially when I grab the right chain. That'll be pretty close there. Let's tape measure. What are we running at there? A bit higher, to be fair. Yep, just a touch more. All right, so we've basically got that at the same height as what we had the Transalp. Just gonna swing this around, have a bit of a look. So, it's pretty much tension on that, so I'm gonna go around this side, let it settle. 67.5 kilos. I'm not sure if we can see that on the camera. Okay, once again, I'll do a comparison. Let's bring it up to thigh height. So that's a lot of weight. That's, well, I'm about 108 kilos, so, you know, we're pushing about 40% of my weight there. So, you know, I challenge anybody to pick up a container that weighs about 68 kilograms and hoist it up. Sorry about the dog in the background. He's having a bit of a sook. Come on in, Roog. Come on. You can do it. I don't know. He's a bit of a sooky dog. Anyway, he wants to come and help. So we're going to lift it up and bring it up to thigh height. You can't help me, buddy. Let's get this out of the way. You can't help me. You're not going to climb on it. Nobody will believe it. And he pulled the wrong one. Story of my life. So let's bring this up to thigh height. Once again, I've got the front brake locked in and the bike in gear. Watching out for my switches. Oh, just going to pull that away until we can get around the switches there. I don't have a budget like Fortnite to do a full scientific experiment. So I can't afford to break anything, can I? All right, just went from 76 down to 74. So I think I'm pretty much at around the same position as before. So once again, we've come up, pulling it up, and we're getting our knee under it, and we're gonna push it up with our knee. So at this point here, if I take my weight off it, so we're sitting at 70 kilograms. So let's have a look at that between the Tenere and the Transalp. Is the Tenere top heavy? Don't know yet. We'll do a comparison. Let's get it all the way up to the top. All right, guys, so at this point here, you're pretty well right, aren't you? Because you're up around hip height, and we're sitting at about 52 kilograms. Still a fair bit of weight sitting there, but not too bad. All right, so let's go back through it all and have a bit of a look at the comparison. I'll put them side by side and have a bit of a discussion about that. There's my super scientific test between the Yamaha Tenere 700 and the Honda Transalp XL750, showing the comparisons in weight and lifting the bike. You make your own mind up on this. If you're happy with the Tenere, stick to it. Happy with the Transalp, ride it. No problems at all. I'm happy with both bikes. I'm feeling much more comfortable on the XL750. I'll be very sad to see this one go, but I've got to make room in the stable for the next bike that's going to come along. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please comment down below. I don't even mind any negative comments. Don't get too technical, specific and all that sort of stuff on angles and that, because in reality, out in the field, nothing's like a science lab, to be honest. So comment, yeah, for sure. Like, subscribe, share the page, all that sort of stuff. I really appreciate your support. So I'm going back inside. It's getting fairly late here. I'm in South Australia. It's about 10 o'clock at night and I think it's time for bed. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.